Are you a fearful avoidant and you're wondering how to properly feel resolved after arguments because you are sick and tired of feeling like you hold all of your emotions inside and can't seem to let go of grudges even with people you love? Well, if this sounds like you, or if you are the loved one of a fearful avoidant, better trying to understand their internal world, here are the three biggest things that a fearful avoidant needs after an argument. And it is my hope for you that in this video, you will come out the other side of this very short video completely understanding how to solve for arguments, how to deal with your internal emotional world, and as a fearful avoidant, in the past who's become very secure in relationships myself, I hope that this will also give you an action step towards healing and becoming more securely attached. So, if you're new here, my name is Thais Gibson. I am the founder of the Personal Development School of this channel, and I created PDS after healing my own attachment style, and I'm here to share as many tools with you on your journey as possible. We talk a lot on this channel about the subconscious mind, attachment styles, relationships, and really powerful tips for healing. So, a few things that fearful avoidants deeply need after a relationship conflict is number one, they need some space to actually process their emotions. Okay. So, it's really, really valuable for a fearful avoidant to have the opportunity to actually kind of like sit with what they're feeling and go inward. When a fearful avoidant doesn't have the time or space to like understand and kind of move through their own feelings, it can be very, very difficult. So, if you are fearful avoidant, you're trying to heal, don't be afraid to take some time and space for a minute. And I don't mean that fearful avoidants need like days at a time. They really need like 5, 10 minutes to just like breathe for a second, get clear on what they're feeling, and try to sort through it. And some great questions to ask yourself during this time, if you are fearful avoidant, are things like, what about the situation in particular triggered me? Or what am I making the situation mean about me? Am I afraid that because of the situation, I'm going to be abandoned or betrayed, or that I'm not seen or heard or understood, or that I don't matter to somebody in my life? Like, you want to really get clear on what that is. The next really big piece, and this is profoundly important, is to have your emotions validated. Emotional validation is of the utmost importance for fearful avoidance because they feel like finally somebody sees and hears them. So remember, we can validate somebody's emotions without fully agreeing with their perspective, right? Let's say, for example, that somebody yells in an argument and maybe you really don't like somebody raising their voice in an argument. You can say to somebody, hey, I can really see that you're upset right now. I can see that the situation's hurting you, but it's not okay to yell. So you can validate an emotion while having a boundary around a behavior. These are not mutually exclusive things. And this is something that you as a fearful avoidant can ask for from a partner. Hey, I need you to understand where I'm coming from and that you see my perspective. This is also something you can use as a tool if you feel like somebody else in the argument is triggered and you want to sort of talk them down by validating their emotions, but still setting a boundary around their behavior. On the flip side, if you're the loved one of a fearful avoidant, you can validate their emotions. Hey, I see that you're hurt. And I really need you to be able to be present with me and not raise your voice, right? So you can validate emotions while setting boundaries around behaviors. And for no matter what your attachment style is, this is a powerful tool to get good at. It works like magic, it goes a very long way. And it helps people when they're in a relationship with somebody they love not feel like you're suddenly on opposite sides of the fence. Like, it doesn't have to feel like you're enemies all of a sudden. It can feel like you're actually deeply connected to each other, even though you're disagreeing on something. And this will help you take the next step towards resolution. This brings me to another huge point that a fearful avoidant needs. Okay. And they really need transparency. Fearful avoidance, if you're listening to this, don't be afraid to ask somebody why they did what they did. Tell them, I'm not trying to like accuse you or give you a hard time, but I need to understand from my own transparency. I need to know why you didn't call me back, or I need to know why you pulled away so strongly, or I just need to understand why you reacted the way you reacted in this situation. Fearful avoidance equate on a subconscious level transparency to certainty. When there's transparency, they feel like, okay, I can rest, I can understand this, I feel better about the situation now. So, transparency meets a profound need for certainty, which actually empowers you to feel like you can better trust somebody in a situation. Okay. So, it's really, really important. Now, before I go through this last part of what a fearful avoidance specifically needs after an argument, um, I also want to say that if you are fearful avoidant, if you're newer to this kind of work and you want to do a deep dive into understanding your core wounds and what triggers you in arguments most often and how to really unpack those things fully for free, just for a limited time, you can check out the emotional mastery course that will help you dig into understanding your core wounds, what they are. Are you most triggered around being betrayed or abandoned or feeling not good enough? And actually how to take the steps to recondition those things at the subconscious level, like reprogram them so they're not a part of your internal reality 24/7. And that will have a profound impact on your ability to heal. So you can check that out. I will put that link down below. And last but not least, fearful avoidants feel very resolved when there's a step or a strategy to prevent the thing that hurt them from recurring. So, for example, if the thing that triggered the fearful avoidant was that you canceled plans at the last minute, if you are a fearful avoidant, you need to have a step, right? So once your emotions are validated, once you have some understanding as to why, the actual transparency piece, then like, hey, I don't want to have canceled plans all the time in our relationship. It's really important to me that that doesn't happen. So what are we going to do to work on this so this doesn't happen again? And this can be an open discussion. This isn't like a, what are you going to do to stop this from happening again? But hey, I don't want this to happen in our relationship. What can we do together to make sure this isn't how things go? And being able to have an open conversation with steps and strategies, it makes the fearful avoidant get their need met for growth. They feel like they're growing through something in a relationship. And on top of that, it makes them feel like, okay, I can trust a little bit more that this is less likely to happen in the future. So I'm willing to let my guard down a little bit now. So these are really powerful kind of like anti-conflict strategies for the fearful avoidant, or conflict resolution strategies for the fearful avoidant. I hope this is helpful for you. Let me know in the comments if this is something that you see in yourself fairly frequently. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to this channel, liking it, sharing it. And I really appreciate you being here and can't wait to see you in future videos.